Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. We are live on YouTube. What's up, everybody?
Man.
Turn this on. Right on. What's happening? What's going on?
Nothing much, man. How are you this evening?
I'm wonderful.
Wonderful. I'm not doing so good.
Why? What's going on?
The Cowboys just lost their first playoff game.
Yes, I know.
They did exactly what the haters expected us to do.
The haters.
The haters. You know, y'all,
what was that final score?
Y'all might make it to the playoffs, but y'all ain't gonna make it. Y'all ain't gonna win the game. Y'all ain't gonna make it to the Super Bowl.
And what was that final score?
You know, I don't even talk about the game no more. You want to know what the final score was? Go Google it. We're not going there. We're not going there with your dad on 49ers. So what? So what? Okay. So what? All right. Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right,
West Side. West Side.
That's all right. Y'all ain't gonna make it no further. Y'all
I rebuke that.
Y'all ain't gonna make it no further. Y'all ain't gonna make it no further either. We're gonna stop right there. I got my buddy who's a Pittsburgh fan calling me like right after the game. And I was already logged into the show, so I couldn't answer the phone. So he gonna swear I didn't answer my phone because we lost. That's what I'm gonna get. That's exactly what I'm gonna get. I'm logging in. I'm on my phone right now. That's why, because I didn't get a chance. I didn't get back to my computer in time to log in. So I am gonna log in from the computer. So
it's all good. It's all good. Just want people to know, here we are. For those who are watching on YouTube, note the background. Put some respect on our names. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, look, I'm gonna go give her some respect. RESPECT. Give it to her. Because there's a difference between respect and respect. All right.
Respect and respect.
Respect.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. See, you guys get your respect because you won the game, but you don't get no respect. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that.
Okay.
I mean, you know, y'all season. You know.
Okay. Anyway, okay. That's how that is. That's how that is.
We're not gonna talk about football because I ain't gonna be that bitter, losing team. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I will say Dak is not $120 million quarterback. I will say that.
He's not.
He is not 120 million. As much as I like my team, as much as I'm gonna say he's not $120 million quarterback.
120 million. 120 million. Who would you say in history was that quarterback?
A quarterback that has taken their team to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl in more cases than one.
Okay.
I would say Tom Brady, but his cheating behind. But we're not even gonna go there with the deflation of the balls, and we ain't gonna go there, all right? Because I don't even think he's $120 million quarterback. Because that's the time they caught him.
Right.
What about the other times that he didn't get caught? He's going to forever have that cloud over his head. And there's so many people that don't like the Patriots now because of that. Wow. Because they got that cloud over the team.
It follows you. We know, you know what? Yeah. We should do a show on that about, things that follow you. These hiccups, these
bad credit.
That just bad credit. It just keeps following you. It follows you. Look, anybody who has purchased a home and you think that you got all your ducks in a row, let me tell you, purchasing a home, I swear to y'all, it's like fossils. These are like some archaeologists. They dig up stuff that you like, what?
Like Mr. Lincoln, everything looks like it's in order, but can you explain this?
Yeah.
Look, I like that dude on that commercial. That's so bogus. It shouldn't be there anymore.
Man, stuff will follow you. You think it's over and done with, you forgot about it. And let me tell you, credit is the number one thing. It's like this demon that just keeps coming up. I tell you.
Credit and insurance, man. You can't. When is that accident gonna fall off?
Yes. Well, anyway. I'm pretty sure we got people tardy, as they would say, to the show tonight because they are still in the throes of watching the game. My daughter is a diehard Cowboys fan. And I text her to say, get on the call tonight. It's critical. She's like, I'm at the sports bar. I'm stressed because of my team and I've been drinking. So I don't need to talk about how I'm going to take care of you.
Right? I was like, we're going to cancel the show tonight. I know she's going to cancel the show tonight. I know.
Here's the deal, y'all. I really thought about it, though. Because I said, all these folks, they're going to be in their feelings. They downtrodden.
It was 3 hours long.
It was what?
It started at 4:30, just a little after 4:30. I thought it would have been over by like 5:30, 6:30, 7 at the latest. Kid, they went till after 8 o'clock. The game was like 3 hours long.
3 hours long and no overtime? I remember 3-hour games back in the day. That's because it was so intense and it was going into overtime. But this, yeah. So,
well, needless to say, I'm gonna save a spot for you on the sofa. So if you want to come and watch the game, the next playoff game, you can. I'm gonna save a spot for you, and then for the Super Bowl, I'll save a spot for you on the sofa too. So we can, watch the other teams play.
The other team, okay, you got jokes. You got jokes. The other team. No, my team is going all the way. West side. We're going all the way.
When's the last time y'all won the Super Bowl? When's the last time y'all went to the Super Bowl?
So what we're talking about tonight
is that means she don't know, y'all. Probably before she was born.
No, not at all.
You gonna Google it real quick and find out?
Yeah, I am. Look, I got my mother. My mother's texting y'all. My mother's texting my daughter talking about, sorry, Dallas lost. She's trying to give sympathy here. So sorry, Dallas lost. Look, I'm gonna crack up laughing.
Tell your mama, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That is not becoming of a lady.
Well, this is our family. We have a family group chat. I swear to y'all, the family group chat is hilarious. So my daughter is sitting up here crying because she's like, we lost. So my mom's trying to console her granddaughter, to let her know we're sorry that Dallas lost. It is what it is. Lisa! Oh, wait, her audio is still trying to connect. In the room. Come on in the Peer Talk room. Lisa, we see you. Oh, wait. She popped in and then it popped out. Anyway, You know what? Someone sent a message to us, Onyx, that said we should do a show. This is a request from one of our many followers. The request came in and said, can y'all do a show on friendship? And then make sure the theme song is friends. How many of us have them? Friends. Ones we can depend on.
Well, first of all, we can't do shows on things that we don't know a lot about. I don't have friends. Okay? So it's going to be difficult for me to talk about friends.
You don't have no friends. You don't have no friends.
I have acquaintances.
You have acquaintances.
Yeah.
So here it is. What is the difference between friendship and acquaintances?
Well, we'll have to talk about it on that show.
Good
this
evening.
ain't that show.
I'm just saying, you said you didn't have any. So I'm trying to understand how you define friends versus acquaintances.
Well, I will define it on the show when we do the show.
Mm-hmm. You advertising the AV ministry? I was like,
I know, right? I shouldn't have the shirt on.
I was like, the AV ministry. I was like, is that your new company, the AV ministry company?
I'm not representing the AV team while I'm on Beer Talk. Let me take this off. Why you ain't go back and edit that.
I had to zoom in. I was like, what that say?
The things we say on this show had nothing to do with that right there.
Nothing. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay. All
hey,
right.
Lisa, good evening.
What's happening, Lisa?
I bet
Lisa got friends.
Lisa got friends. Wait, is her screen frozen?
I think she frozen. If you talking, girl, we can't hear you.
I don't know. Is it frozen?
There we go. Your screen is frozen, but we can hear you. I don't
know.
There we go. Chopping like a mug. You only paid half your internet bill. Because they're giving you choppy service.
What?
Choppy. It's moving in slow motion there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey Ray, you can take that backdrop down now though.
I can't do it.
Put that up when y'all win the Super Bowl in a couple years.
I can't.
I'm gonna drop out and come back in.
Okay. I can switch one if that'll make you feel better.
No, I like that one. But I need you to move over a little bit. The other way. Other way. You keep moving. Yeah, that right there. That's good right there. Are you cold? Because you got a hat on. Are you cold?
It is cold.
You don't have no heat?
Yeah, I have a heater right here on the floor, on my feet.
Then why are you cold?
Because it's cold.
Mm.
I just came in from the store and yeah, it was a little chilly out there, just a little crisp, That's it, that's all.
What's that, anyway, like 70?
Whatever. Yeah. No, it's a little lower. So anyway, we talking about, first of all, I was trying to line up a guest. They were not able to make it, but I figure we could still have this conversation because there's a whole lot of us who are now over the 50 mark that this may be a conversation, not just necessarily that we should be having about our own parents, but about ourselves. What conversations are we having with our children or siblings about as we age? What's going to happen? How do we want to be taken care of? What about downsizing? What's the plan of action for coping with aging parents for us and then for our children? This is why I had asked a whole bunch of millennials to jump on as well, so that they can hear some of the conversations and to start up these conversations in their own families, because we don't want to wait till the last minute to say, oh, this is how I want to be taken care of. And the kids go, I had no clue that's what your plan was, Mom. I had no clue that's what your thought process was around your care as you got older. You know, I shared the other night, jokingly with my tween that, you know, her plan for me is she's definitely going to take care of me, but I only get, you know, 2 hours on the porch every day. uh, you know, and I have a regimented diet that she will, I have to eat it, and it will be breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and this is how things go. So, you know, kids have their own ideas. We joke about it, but I'm like, no, let's really, you know, as we joke about it sometimes at the house, let's really sit down and have the conversation. So tonight, that's what I want to talk about: how to cope with aging parents, how to cope with yourself. Have you given it some thought about how you want to be taken care of as you age? What plans have you put in place for yourself? You know, and what things have you noticed, either with your parents or with yourself, that you now are realizing, you know what, I'm not this young whippersnapper no more, and I need to really start thinking about some things. Onyx, why you look like the cartel? Like, what? I'm like, what is going on? Oh my God, this is not The Sopranos. This is Peer Talk. Peer Talk.
Step out of the car, please.
No. And not at all. Not at all. My goodness. I'm looking like, what is going on?
People,
oh my goodness. Anyway, so since you dressed, you know, you looking like The Sopranos, have you given it any thought, for yourself about
put me in a nursing home?
You're gonna be in a nursing home.
Oh yeah.
You've already planned, you put the plan of action in place, you've already outlined it, the documentation is somewhere to say, this is how I want to be taken care of.
I ain't done all that. No. So you know what the reality of it is? We typically don't want to think about those kinds of things.
Correct.
So for that very reason, a lot of times, you know, I went to an estate planning seminar last week, and that's what they were talking about, how we don't understand the importance of estate planning and putting, like you said, putting things in motion so that our assets are protected. The people that we want to distribute those assets to are also protected, and they don't have to go through a whole lot of headache and rigmarole when something happens to us. But so many people die without a will. They die without, like you said earlier, a plan in place for even when they become ill and can't take care of themselves, can't make their own decisions and things like that. So in all seriousness, you and I hadn't talked about this before you came up with this subject. So it
really aligns. It really aligns. You know, what I thought about is every time, and this is not to be disrespectful to anyone out there, but every time I see a celebrity, because oftentimes we think of people who have money, they already got all their ducks in a row, right? We automatically assume that, oh, they got it all together. They have all their ducks in a row. And then the news broadcasted out that, such and such entertainer has passed away, and there's nothing in place. There's no will. There's nothing regarding their assets, nothing regarding how their children are either to be taken care of, if they're still younger children, if they're older children. So then what we see is this battle and this fight that goes on. We get this glimpse into this, and it's like, how about we stop? And it's a hard conversation to have, but it's a necessary conversation to have about planning and coping with aging. Because here's the reality: we're all aging. period. We're all aging. And as I get older, as I'm moving a little slower than I used to. Now is the time for me to really start to think, how do I want to be taken care of? And how do I not want such a heavy burden to be placed upon my children? Because it's already going to be a tough time for them.
So now's the time for older people who ain't married and nothing like that to stop trying to figure out how you're going to get married and how you're going to settle down, all those kinds of things. Start figuring out your exit strategy. Because you got your better years.
I'm trying not to look at the Zoom screen, y'all. You see, I'm like, let me just look down, because I don't want to see your polka dotted bow.
I just hollered.
My gang, what do you call these things? Ribbon? What do you call them?
Bandana.
Bandana, yeah, that's it right
bandana.
there. My gang bandana.
You know what? You made a really good point, though. You really made a good point. We've been so focused about relationships.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. What's
Very
your exit
good point.
strategy? That is a very good point. What is your exit strategy?
So Peer Talk is now going to shift our discussions in the future away from relationships and those types of things to estate planning, funeral planning, and things like that. So prepare yourselves to get, to help everybody prepare for their exit strategy. Because most of us
we will never move away from relationships. You know why? Because all of those things are still about relationships. They're still about relationships. They're about relationships with your attorney. They're about relationships with your children in the planning process. It's still about relationships. So we will never move away from relationships, ever. It is the catalyst of Peer Talk.
How's that one? Does it look better?
Besides, oh my God.
I kind of look like Tom Selleck, don't I?
Guido,
Mhm.
for real?
Don't look like Tom Selleck?
I don't see Tom Selleck, because Tom Selleck's eyebrows are really bushy. Sorry, don't see it.
Okay, let me change that real quick while we're talking.
No, don't do it, Cletus.
You know who he looked like, Lorinda?
Who he look like?
He looked like Dwayne
Wayne.
Dwayne Wayne's best friend, Ron.
Ron! He looked like Ron! Yes! Oh
Not
my
Ron.
God. Put some glasses on.
Right?
Ron.
That's all
Ron Johnson.
There you go. I could not remember.
Just throw them glasses on. Oh, just put the glasses on.
I'm going with the Tom Selleck look. How's that right there? That bushy enough?
No.
Oh, Lord. No, because they look like women's eyebrows.
Great.
No.
Yes,
they
he
do.
changed them. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but they do.
Oh,
really,
now
really
he got a goatee. Lord have mercy. Now he look like Ice-T.
Exactly.
Selling car insurance.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, Shelly. Welcome to the call. We're just getting started. We just want to hear from other people. This is just a round robin discussion tonight, talking about how to cope with aging parents. And if anybody's had any experience with that, and what are some suggestions that you could lend to someone about going into that planning or dealing with it, and how, oftentimes the focus is on the parent, but how would you be dealing with it from your own perspective, your own emotions, your own feelings behind,
what's up, Shelly?
Your parents are aging.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
of the two people we have on the call, do either of you have aging parents?
You hear my fussing in the background? Yes, I do.
Okay. Oh, yours fussing in the background? Okay. Okay, maybe we need to, is that your mom's, your dad's? Who is that?
Mama.
Your mama? Well, maybe we need to get mama on the call. Where mama at?
Right here.
Hi, mama, how you doing?
Say hi.
Hi. She's like, who is that?
You just say hi.
Hi. Hello.
Who's that? I didn't know if I told you, mommy. That is not my boyfriend. Good Lord Jesus.
She liked the mustache and the goatee, didn't she?
Oh, good.
She was feeling that, wasn't she? I know she was. I know.
So good question though.
Huh?
So repeat your question again.
Oh, so your mother is obviously older than you. So we're dealing with an aging senior. Have you and your mom discussed how she'll be taken care of as she continues to age? And you're muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry, we have not. One, because my mother had a stroke a few years ago.
Okay.
And she also, right now she has some signs of dementia.
Okay.
She won't listen, in other words. So we can't, she knows that she's well enough to know, right from wrong. I mean, she's very ornery right now, and
Okay.
bad at times, as well as she gets super accusatory. Then I have my father who just had a stroke on the 1st of the year. So having to try to keep the two of them not really separate, but we won't allow her to go to the hospital right now.
Oh, he's still in the hospital?
Yeah, he actually causes stress. Arguing the night that he had she was fussing with him the night he had the stroke. So we just
have you all solicited like an outside person to come in and just help you all sort of walk you through the process of how things are going to go as she's the dementia either develops, and how you're going to go? Have you had someone come in and just sort of walk the process with you as she's aging and what's going on with your father?
We haven't as of yet, only because, like I said, she's very ornery. She won't allow us to do a lot of stuff. I'm not this, I'm not that. So we almost have to like trick her into going to the doctor. Or what am I going to do? Actually, she put me out of one of her appointments one day because she said I was lying.
Wow.
So I'll tell her, Mama, you did. No, I didn't. The little Asian, feisty Asian, she can she can look.
It sounds like my grandmother. My grandmother was the same way. She was, I didn't realize how strong she was until we were trying to pull her back. And I was like, oh my goodness. But very ornery, very, my grandmother kept wanting to go home. She ended up living with my aunt, and she was so determined she was going to go home. So it got really difficult for my aunt. They had to relock the house because she would get up, she would have her bags, and the next thing you know, she was out the door walking down the street saying, she's going home. I don't want to be with you. I want to go to my house. So it got really, really hard for the family, and definitely for my aunt, because she took on the responsibility of taking care of my grandmother. But it was so critical at a point where we had to come together as a family and say, what is the plan? What are we going to do? As much as, when she was, sort of there, trying to explain to her, it really just got to a point where we just got to take this and roll with it, and this is the journey that we have to take. And it's so difficult. I want people to know it's so difficult because you don't want to, that's your parent, and it's hard because you're like, am I now parenting the parent? it gets very difficult. It could be very emotional. So this is why I was asking you, Shelly, did you have someone else that could just come in and just be there for you and help you deal with that balance of, oh my goodness, staying in the scope of that's my mom and respecting mom, but I'm also now in this sort of disciplinary role as a parent with my parent. How do I deal with that, and how do I continue to move forward? And I think that's critical. As I said, as we went through with my grandmother, it was a toll on my aunt, and so we just knew you can't carry all this weight by yourself. You got to pull other people in. You got to pull the rest of us in. If there's times that we have to come over and sort of do the babysitting so that you can go away and sort of do the woo-saw, because it is very difficult. It can be very difficult. Thank you for sharing that.
I have two brothers.
Go ahead, Shelly.
My brother, I have two brothers actually that actually helped me. So they told me, you take care, you get daddy, we have mama, because there's something about a relationship between the mother and the son.
Yeah.
She and I bump.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can tell her one thing, and she's trying to fight me. Where they tell her, it's like, okay. So they said, we'll get mama. You take care of daddy. So that's kind of where we are right now. So they do help me out.
Y'all know I kind of look like Ralph Tresvant a little bit.
You don't. Lisa already told you who you look like, Ron Johnson.
Don Johnson. Y'all think I look like Don Johnson?
Ron Johnson, different world.
So here's a question for you. Don't be laughing. So here's a question for you, Shelly. And Lisa, are you there, Lisa? Because I don't know if you're there or not. All I see is your name.
I'm here. Here. I was just letting people, the conversation was flowing. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, it was. I thought, yeah. So Lisa, are you dealing with any aging parents, Lisa?
Well, I lost my mom in 2019.
Oh, okay.
And my dad, he is an aging parent, but he's an aging distant parent.
Okay.
And so I only hear from him when he wants me to hear from him.
Understood.
So, and so it's, but I could say up to the point where my mom passed, she became very ornery, very difficult. And my brother, God bless him, took most of the brunt of that, because they were in Massachusetts.
Gotcha.
And so, but yeah, she became very stubborn.
Was she suffering with dementia as well?
She wasn't quite there yet.
Okay.
But she had a lot of, my mom suffered a major depression for most of her life.
I see. Okay.
And then when she became older, she had diabetes, and she just refused to do what the doctors told her to do. And so I mean, so it was just a difficult journey. And in the end, it was like she was fighting everything tooth and nail. Like for 3 years, I tried to get her to come live with me. Because this is my epicenter, and she just refused to do it. So that's why I was saying my younger brother kind of took the brunt of the daily care. But still, she didn't have certain things in place, so it was tough.
So let me. I'm sorry,
so the only thing I was going to say is, if there's anyone who is dealing with a parent that what I will call the transition occurs, where the roles start shifting. and you have to become the caregiver for your parent. Make sure to have those difficult but necessary conversations
Yeah.
with your parent. And not only that, make sure that those proxy documents and all those legal documents are in place.
Yep.
Because once they hit a certain point mentally, it's too late.
Yep.
And then you're
Yep.
just stuck with what you're stuck with. And it becomes so much more difficult than it has to be.
Yep. And I mean, you know what? It's almost better probably to get somebody, because people don't understand the differences between a power of attorney or a living will. There are different variations of different types of documents that work through the living years of a person, those that work after that person, transition. I mean, you have to understand. It's a lot to understand. It's not something you can pick up a book and necessarily, completely understand. So I would encourage people to, that's probably one, and it's not probably, that is one of those things that it's worth getting somebody who's knowledgeable, an attorney, an estate attorney or something like that. That's one of those things is I would say it's worth getting, it's weight in gold, to make sure that all of those documents and things are in place, all those processes are in place, because navigating that system after the fact you can be caught up for years in legal battles and what have you, when if you just had the right documents and the right processes in place before all of that happened, you would be covered. You could rest well knowing that everything is already taken care of. I want to go back to Shelly real quick. So Shelly, understanding that your mom, is dealing with that, do you do additional research on what could potentially be down the line for you and your family, to prepare yourselves mentally for that and otherwise, financially and other? How do you deal with that? How are you dealing with that now that she's, fortunately not at that level? But how are you preparing for it just in case it gets to that point?
Prayer,
Mm-hmm.
just having conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes a difference when you just have an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
We've all kind of been researching and just kind of preparing up until my daughter is going to get worse before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kind of you have to learn not to take it so personal.
Right.
And there are times I'll be quite honest, where I'm like, hey, I can't do this. Or I find myself sometimes trying to defend myself with my mom, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, she's sick. She can't, she just, and I have to stop myself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's tried to fight me before. So, I mean, it's a lot. I just try not to allow it to consume me, and I take breaks. I definitely take breaks.
Excellent.
Got to.
I know exactly what you're talking about. When my sister was a diabetic and she suffered with it for years. I think she was diagnosed with diabetes at a very early age. And toward her latter years, I'd say probably the last 10 years or so of her life, she became stubborn and ornery and just mean, but I didn't understand looking at it. I didn't understand how, and she would, just treat my mom. My mother was her caretaker, all those years, my mother and my father, but my father passed away in 95. So all of that fell on my mom. And so, so I watched my mother take care of her, day after day, month after month, year after year, through countless strokes and surgeries and hospitalizations and nursing homes. I mean, I don't know anybody personally who went through as much as my sister went through in her 39 years of life.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't understand how one person could, to be honest with you. But triple bypass surgeries, amputations, blindness. I mean, she went through it. I mean, the story of Job, But anyway, that being said, I watched her deal with my mom, and I watched my mom deal with her. And I would ask myself, Mama, why do you let her treat you like that? She's cussing at you. She's fussing at you. She's, just not treating you, the way you should be treated as a mother, as a parent, as, out of respect. Right. My mother would constantly remind me that it's not her. It's her sickness.
It's her sickness.
And you have to, and I began to understand that you can't fault that person for what is going on in their minds, because it's really not them. It's what they're going through that's having that chemical reaction and causing them to be the way they are,
right,
towards you or whatever. So I totally understand where you're going from. I sympathize with you.
I agree with you on
Thank
that.
you.
One of the things I noticed with my grandmother, I think the combativeness was there too, because she was fighting. It was coming out fighting the family and the stubbornness and all this, but it was also the internal fighting that I'm losing control. I'm losing control. I'm not remembering you all's faces. I'm losing control of my life. And my grandmother was such an independent woman. She did everything on her own. She was just living that life, And so to get to a point now where I need my children to come along and take care of me and to tell me, these things. And as she progressed, it was, yes, I'm fighting you all, but I'm really internally fighting because I'm losing control. And I can't even imagine myself at this age. I can't even imagine it, So it can be a difficult time. But one of the things that you said, I love that you said, Shelley, was you make sure that you take breaks. I think it's critical that people, it's okay. Don't sit and say, I have to be there 24/7, 365. You have to take care of you as well and get the best support group that you can muster up to be there for you and to help you during that time, because I can only imagine what your mother was going through as well, Onyx. That's a lot. This is your baby. It's a lot. So it's critical to get that support team there. Take the breaks that you need and research as much as you can. And find out what things are out there that can benefit you, that can possibly in certain ways maybe take a little bit of the weight off. It may not take it all off, but you get a little bit of relief, So it's really, really critical. I don't know, and I could be wrong, and maybe it's just over here, but we don't have these conversations enough. We don't discuss them enough within our community, within just in general population. As you said at the top of the hour, a lot of people shy away from this. Nobody wants to think about it, but I think it's critical for us to keep pushing the envelope to have these conversations so that we try the best we can to get prepared. You can never be fully prepared, but you can at least try to get there. You know what I mean?
Have that conversation, find out what that person expects. Yes. What do they want for their own life? A lot of parents would say, my mom used to say if she ever became to the point where she was incapacitated, she wanted us to put her in a nursing home. She didn't want. I don't want you to be a burden on y'all. I want you to live your lives and et cetera, et cetera. And we used to say, all right, we're not putting you in a nursing home. If we are capable of taking care of you, then that's what we're going to do. But you need to have that conversation. What is it you expect? What is it you want? What are your desires? All the way down to and again, it's a conversation nobody wants to have. But if you end up on an intubator. I think that's what they call them, right? If you end up on life support or whatever, do you want us to pull the plug? Do you want to, what do you want? My mom used to say, I don't want to be, in that state. So don't put me on a ventilator. My dad told her, if I end up on a ventilator, I want to be on it as long as I can possibly be on it, because, as long as there's breath, there's life. And that's what he used to tell her. And so, and he found himself on intubated because he had a massive heart attack, and he was in the hospital in a coma. And the doctors had called us in and said, that you make your peace. It's time you're gonna have to, it's time to start looking at making a decision. Before we could make that decision, he passed away. So, you know, my mom fortunately never had to make that decision for him, because that's a decision you have to live with. You know, if I had not taken him off of life support, would he have, you know, come through? Would he have pulled through? You know, I'm kind of haunted by that thought on a daily basis, because I had to give the green light for my mother to go into surgery, and which is where she passed away. So, but my saving grace was the doctor told me, if your mother has to have the surgery. If she doesn't have the surgery, she's going to die. If she has the surgery, this is her percentage of life. And so it was, for me, it was almost, you know, it's okay, she's going to die versus this will give her an opportunity. However, like I said, she passed away in surgery. So, you know, it's just one of those.
Look at it, you gave her a fighting chance. You gave
that's exactly, and that's what helps me rest in the decision that I had to make, because I had to sign those papers. But anyway, yeah, we gotta have those conversations.
We have to have those conversations about our parents. And here's where it really got, for me, the reason why I really want to have this discussion is because we're looking at our aging parents, and we're looking at this responsibility that will befall upon us. But what are we doing for our own lives? We still feel, you know, I call her my grandmother. She was well into her 90s, and she would say, my mind still feels like I'm in my 30s. She was so quick and whippersnapper. She said, but my body has not followed. You know, so, you know, we may be in this state right now as our bodies or our minds are saying we still in our 20s and our 30s. But our bodies are saying y'all are moving in a different direction. So what are we doing to put in place for our children right now? You know, because you may be caught in between this thing. I got my aging parents, but I'm also aging. So I see what I'm dealing with. What do I not want my children to deal with? Right. And so let me start focusing on that as well, so that I can put things in place. Because I think right now I'm just like, whoa, you know, I'm looking at my own mother. She's getting up there in age. She has this house. It's on a pretty big plot of land. There's a lot of my mother is a gardener. She loves being outside. It's a lot of work, but I realize she's getting tired. It's a lot of work for her to keep that up. What are we going to do with, you know, as she's getting up there in age? Am I going over there to mow up the lawn and cut down the hedges and cut down some trees? No. I'll tell y'all right now. But it's like, what are we doing in that space? And now I'm looking at that saying, well, what am I going to do in my space with my children about my own life? Well, how are they going to maintain the house? You know, what do I want done going down the line? And so it's critical for us not to just look at it from our parents, but point of view and our point of view with our parents, but our children's point of view with us. And have we taken those necessary steps?
You know what's interesting to me? I like at this point in my life, I couldn't imagine dying. You know what I mean? It's like you feel like you have so much life left, you so many things you want to do. You know, if someone told you, okay, you know, you got a month left or whatever, it's like, no. But you look at Lisa, you running water, baby? Lisa.
Yes.
You running water?
I'm sorry.
All right, we're gonna mute you. All right, cool. But what's interesting to me is when you at 85, you know, prayerfully I'll live a long life, you know, and at some point in my life, will I be ready? Because you've heard older people say, you know, baby, I'm ready. I'm just ready for Jesus to come now. You know, at what point in your life are you just ready to just close your eyes and never open them again? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever be at that point. What does it take to get to that point? And how much life do you have to live before you get to a point, I'm ready to go now?
I think it's just the contentment. I think at that point, you know, you talk to different people, they're just content. They've experienced all that they feel they needed to experience. And they're like, hey, there ain't too much left on this side. that, you know, I can do, or I'm going to be able to do because of age limits sometimes, you know. So they're just like, I'm ready, you know, I'm ready to
I
go
think
on
it's
the other
too.
job.
I think it's too when all your family and all your friends have gone on home, and you really don't have folks around anymore. I think a part of that plays a role in it too.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. Like, how much more do you want to stick around and see the next generation shift again? Like, I have to tell you, I looked at
I mean,
recent Sidney Poitier and Betty White, and they
mhm,
lived long, for very full lives, you know,
yeah,
and they've seen so much. I mean, good gracious, White was 100 years old, basically, you know, all the things that she has seen in 100 years.
mhm,
And, you know, you just get to that point where, like, I have done it, I have seen it, I have experienced it. it, it it's okay for me to go. It's okay for me to go and rest
right.
and just be at peace, you know. But again, what are we doing? What are we doing to ensure that our children have things in place?
Yeah.
How can we continue to push this narrative? Don't be afraid of this conversation. For some reason, I don't know about y'all, but this new generation over, we're just afraid to have hard conversation about everything. We just want to, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have that hard conversation. But yet we know that it's going to happen. So my thing is, let's have it now versus on the other side. You know, let's just go ahead and get it over with. I'm gonna get it over with. Can we just get it over with? Let's have a conversation now, so I don't want to have to deal with it down the road. But why is it so difficult for us to have this conversation about aging parents, about ourselves aging, about what we want to do, um,
But
as in our latter years, you
but you know
know?
what? It's not even about. I mean, I know we started off talking about aging parents, but since we've gotten onto this, planning conversation, people are dying today. They're not dying at 65, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. They dying at 35.
That's real
You
talk.
know, now at 35 years old, you're not even thinking about a will or,
No.
death, planning for transition. You're not even thinking about that stuff. And even at 50, I'm 50. To be honest with you, I think about it, but I'm still on the mindset, oh, I got a ton of life to live. You know what I mean? This conversation doesn't need to happen today. You know what I mean? So you keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and then you get hit by a bus. And now, you haven't had that conversation. And, so now you've left some people in a situation. And my son's 21. He wouldn't have a clue what to do. So have you had this conversation with your daughter and your kids?
Who? You talking to me?
You, but you're not an owl. Your feet don't hold no branch.
You know what? I haven't started having the conversation with my children about, I'm getting up there. I'm getting up there in age, and
You've been up there for a minute.
whatever, whatever. Getting up there in age and what things I want to
Hey,
happen.
Shelly, I see you yawning. That's one of the indicators of getting old, right?
No, he didn't.
It's you yawning before 9 o'clock.
We're the same age, buddy.
That's one of them old indicators. Yeah, I started yawning about 7 when I was watching that Dallas 49ers game.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Yeah, but we ain't gonna talk about that. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and take my blood pressure right quick because I don't know. I think my blood pressure. I'm serious. I'm about to take my blood pressure. Look, I got the kid right here. I'm about to take my blood pressure.
I got one too. Look, you already know I got stuff. I've been preparing for the day,
I should have been strapped to this thing watching that daggone game. Seriously.
So yes, to answer your question, I have started the conversation, and I've asked my daughter, just, candid conversation. Does she feel, she would be mentally ready could she do it? Does she think she's emotionally strong enough to handle when I get to that point where she has to make these decisions? And of course, today she says, I think I can, Mom, but I would prefer if you outline everything, because you track everything as it is. But if you can just outline everything that you want done and how you want it done for you. That way, as I'm dealing with my emotions, at least I have a running sort of like, process. This is what she said, and this is what she would like done. Now, she says, understand, you may have written this all out and it may be my go-to, mom, but if I feel, no, my mom, I'm gonna give my mom a fighting chance, I'm gonna make the executive decision at that point, to do whatever the case may be. But I have started to have that conversation because I want to prepare them. I don't want it to be a shock to them. I don't want them to be like, oh my God, what now? And my grandmother had dementia and Alzheimer's. So I seen the decline, and I just said, no, I don't want them to have to deal with that. So let's start looking and having that combo.
Do you have a will in place?
I'm working on that right now.
So the answer is no.
No, that's why I just said I'm working on. That's why we're having this conversation. What do we need to get in place? I have some other stuff in place, but as you said something that's really key. I thought I had one thing in place, but there's all these other things that you don't think about. It's the living stuff. It's after you pass away. It's all of this estate planning. Do you just leave it all in the kids' names? There's so many things that I have read. Some people say leave it in all the stuff in the kids' name. Other people say, no, that's a horrible idea. Put it in a living trust and all this other stuff. So it's really critical to get someone who has that serious knowledge and wherewithal to lead you in the right direction for your planning.
So what we should do is we should look at getting a guest on the show to talk about the differences between living wills and trusts and powers of attorney and those kinds of things, so that people have an understanding and they realize how serious this stuff actually is. Because, you can't say it enough. And once when you need it and you don't have it is when you realize, I should have listened. I should have done this a long time ago. So I think we should plan that show and get some folks online who and I may be able to work on that. I probably talked to the folks that did the presentation the other week. In fact, I'm sitting down with them next week and I'll talk to them and see if we can't get them on the show in a future show. But Shelly and Lisa, you guys, Shelly, I understand what you're going through. And just hang in there and make sure you have that support system that we talked about, and a place to breathe. Take some time for yourself as well, and you'll get through it. I'm reminded our parents took care of us, and now it's time for us to take care of them. Unfortunately, mine is no longer here for me to do that, but so I take care of other people's parents. I do. Every chance I get to help an elderly person, I do my best to do so. So that's my give back to, to my mom and my dad not being here. So
I agree. Shelly, have you all thought about your mom? Just looking at her picture while she was there, she's still very young and whippersnapper. Have you thought about, is she at a point where she needs 24-hour roundabout care? Have you thought about how you're going to go into that? She's not at that point yet.
She's fairly independent. Like I said, right now we're just at the ornery stage and accusing my dad of this and you didn't. And any day she's real sensitive. Everything's almost like an argument.
Yeah.
So tiptoe a lot of times around her. So
are your parents together, Shelly?
Oh yeah. And the difference between the two of them is yes, both of them had a stroke. My dad was in the back. The only thing that he's going to probably be dealing with is physical movement because he had a cerebral stroke and that affects his balance a little bit. But he's still fussing and he knows exactly what he wants.
Mine is tight, huh?
Yeah, tells us don't let such and such preach over me. I want your brother to do my eulogy, So I mean, I'm glad they're younger than I am. I am the oldest, but even if there was something that happened to me, I do have a daughter. I know that they would make sure everything is good with her. You know, she's 26. And even at 26, like you said, this generation here is something totally different than what we are. So
they're not worker bees. This generation is hand it over to me. You know, give it to me. I want it already done. I don't want to put no work in. You know, and we were like the worker bees. You know, we would take it, run with it. Yeah, we figure it out. This generation is like, I ain't gonna try to figure that out.
No, you heard what I said. My daughter said, put basically it's put the little booklet together of how you want this to be. Because if I got to figure it out, yes, it's not gonna work for you.
Kids these days are not resourceful. They don't go looking for the resources. We would dig and dig and dig until we could find, who do I need to talk to? Kids these days, if it's not like right in front of them, guess what? It's gonna go undone. Because I'm not gonna put no time in try to figure this thing out. You know, I'm just not gonna do it. Unfortunately, that's the mentality of a lot of kids these days. And this, I don't know, man. I worry about this generation. I tell my son all the time, my job is to make sure when I close my eyes, you are ready. I never say what ready for what. I just say ready. You know, and what I mean by that is the challenges that life brings you, because you're gonna be dealt a whole lot of challenges. Are you ready to confront those challenges when I'm no longer there? Yeah. And I just don't believe my son is not ready. At 21, he's 21 also.
You said something that was so key on is this generation, because one of the things that that's interesting is there are a lot of, the boomers. Boomers, all of a sudden, I don't know what it was, but a lot of them boomers all of a sudden in their latter years decided to have some millennial kids. And now there's this conflict because the boomers is like, y'all don't want to do nothing. And y'all are going to be responsible for taking care of us. Oh God,
They're not gonna know how.
There's this dynamic right now, and all us little extras are in the middle saying, now, how is this gonna work out?
And that's why I'm like, just put me in a nursing home. Let them figure it out. Put me in a nursing home, visit me once or twice a week, let them figure it out. But you, son, I love you, but I'm a little concerned.
Yeah. It's a really interesting dynamic right now, because I see so many boomers with 25-year-olds and just their mindset and how they think, and then this new generation is like, no, that's not how we're doing it. And I'm like, this is the group that you have now that you're saying you want them responsible for you as you continue to age. You have to now take it upon yourself. This is why I'm stressing this to so many people. You need to take it upon yourself to lay the foundation work for what you want, because Onyx just said they're not going to go research it. They're not going to dig deeper. So help them out. Help them out. If you really want it done correctly, help them out. Leave them some type of document that says what you need and want done.
You gotta leave them an SOP. Here's a standard operating procedure, son, for how to deal with me in my old age.
How to deal with me in my old age. How to deal with me. I'm gonna get ornery. I'm gonna get, I'm gonna say some things. My grandmother said some things. I didn't even know my grandmother knew how to cuss until I was like, oh, she know them words.
Are you cussing at me?
I did not know. I was like, wow, trying to help her manage stuff. My grandmother was always about her money. And so, she would start, sort of what you were saying, Shelly, accusatory. Did y'all go in my purse? Did you take my money? Did you? And it's like, we don't even know. But no. So you have to be prepared for all of those things, because they will come up, and it will be challenging. And you have to hold back to realize that's mama, that's daddy, that's grandparent. I can't fire off on them like I would do Pookie them on the street. You can't do that. You can't do that. You still need to honor them and respect them. So just, we always want to do shows that give you all room for pause and to think and to prepare. we want to bring up topics that most people aren't talking about because they're nervous or they don't want to think about it because it's just uneasy. But we're that group that we want to bring it before you so you can prepare as best as you can to move things forward for your life and the life of your parents as they age. That's it.
Yeah. Yep, and that's pretty much it, y'all. This is been a good show. I am looking forward to actually having some folks on the call to discuss the proper planning
Yes.
for us, because we're that generation now that not only do we have to deal with our aging, those of you who have to deal with aging parents, we got to prepare for ourselves so that our kids don't have to. Because we're gonna be short if we gotta run them.
Honey, you're not sounding too positive about it. You like, y'all, I don't know. You guys hear him? He like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
I'm just saying, look, I got some concerns. Okay, I'm just
You're gonna have to call your own funeral home.
Let me prepare my funeral for this particular day, this particular time. I'm gonna come down there.
You gotta prepare yourself.
I'm gonna come down there. Y'all got a storage facility. Y'all got storage facility? I'm gonna bring the suit down there so y'all already have it. Just put it inside the casket. I'm gonna pick the casket out while I'm down there too. I'm just gonna have everything laid out. I'm gonna hand my son a gift certificate and say it's already taken care of.
It's already done. It's already done. Take this down to the funeral
home and redeem it. It's all done.
We're concerned. If you don't get it, we are a little concerned about the care that may be given moving forward. So
look, tell them don't detour by the bank first, because you're not gonna get no money until the services are held and everything is done proper and in order.
That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Look, my daughter had said, "Hey, mom, it's still, the whole, casket on this. You don't want to just, be the tree. They got this whole tree thing." Now I said, "Girl, don't you put me in no tree." Okay. What is going on? Yeah, they have these pods now that you can actually be buried with, basically your body is going to decompose anyway, but you'll be buried like with the tree. It's almost like you fertilizing this tree. And I'm like, in the world? Yeah, there's a lot of different things out. It's eco-friendly, it's about sustainability and, saving the planet. So instead of all these caskets and whatnot, she asking me if I just want to be planted as the tree.
So how do they plant you? They just bury your body next to the tree?
Oh, Lord. It's like a biodegradable sack that they put you in, and then they bury you in the biodegradable sack.
But it's going to decompose.
It's going to decompose.
Yeah, in the ground.
Does a tree grow?
Huh?
Is there a tree that, at the top? So there you go. You a tree.
I'm a tree, girl. I'm a tree. I'm going to give somebody some shade.
She coming back as a tree. Oh,
right.
Lord.
Lord, no, don't cut it down, Jesus. Don't cut it down.
No box. I don't want to be in no box.
See, I got fear of being cremated. I don't want to be cremated.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to be cremated, and I don't want to be cremated, and I don't want to be buried. I don't want to do neither one. I want them to just take my body out and just release it into space.
Okay. I want to be cremated.
You want to be?
I want to be. Could you not put me in no box in the ground?
I don't like
the
heat.
Worms to eat my flesh.
I don't like heat. What if you wake up?
Oh my God. Lisa, you sound like my cousin. She had told us that. She said, don't you. She was so conflicted. First, she told us don't cremate her because she said, I don't want to, I don't know. I might burn twice. So I'm not sure if I want to get cremated.
No.
I was like, oh Lord, not burn twice. Then she was like, then I don't want to be buried because I don't want them worms in and out of me. I said, how will you no.
But you know what? That's not what happens now. That's
No,
not.
it's not.
Have you seen them?
Just cremate me and spread my ashes over the ocean while playing some Earth, Wind and Fire and some Fred Hammond. Do not wear black.
Fred Hammond. That's a heck of a.
She got a combination going on.
That's right. That's right.
This will be a heck of a DJ mix.
A DJ mix for sure. Wait,
Lisa, what if you wake up in the crematory?
If I wake up in the crematory, then I'm gonna be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or whoever it was that was in that fiery furnace.
It was Shadrach, Meshach, and the Billy Goat.
And a Billy Goat. Yeah, them dudes.
Them dudes. And it's all
right?
good, right?
Right?
It's
so,
all good.
Right. It's all good. Because, they walked out and wasn't a stink of smoke or ash or anything on them. So, hey.
Look who just came in just as we wrapping up.
Hi, Dewan.
Dewan, what time is your clock set for? Your clock must be set for 8:10 right now.
Anyway, so I missed it.
Oh yeah, you done. We done.
All right. Why do you look like that?
Guido.
Oh, he been clowning all night, Dewan.
It's my Ralph Tresvant look.
It's not working for you.
Look, you know what? Don't come on the call. Dewan, do you understand?
Remember when Charlie Hustle used to have those
yes,
like the cat and the old man?
Yep. Lisa said, Dewan, he looked like Ron Johnson from Different World.
Peoples Hernandez. Her Peoples Hernandez.
I told him to go put the glasses on.
Your hat keeps moving like Ray J's hat would move on the show. Ray J's little Scully kept moving.
That's because y'all been drinking.
Oh goodness.
Anyway,
this was a great conversation. Oh, you gotta do something with them eyebrows. Something ain't right.
Really?
I mean, all of it, like
bad.
Don't push your head eyebrows like this.
Okay.
No,
No, I don't.
Dewan, just take one of your braids and pull it over your eyes like this. And then take another one, just cross it across your lip, and you will look just like me. I promise.
The devil is a liar.
Right. All righty. Oh, so you have been charged with getting our guests for estate planning.
I will get the guests for the estate planning. Upcoming show.
This next conversation.
So it's not gonna be next week. It will be in the upcoming show. I can't say when because I don't know what their schedules look like. The people that I'm going to request, I don't know what their schedule looks like.
Okay.
So have y'all booked y'all trip to Cabo? Anybody booked yet?
I'm booked.
Not yet.
I'm booked.
Nope. Not yet, but I'm going.
Yeah.
Who said they're going? Dewan,
you going? Shelly's going.
Shelly, you going, Shelly?
Mm-hmm. My child's talking about where we going?
Not where we going. Where we going?
Where we going? Right. We going.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go and treat myself for my birthday.
Yes.
The festival is September 10th. I think I told y'all that last week.
Yeah, I don't want to come to that though.
Okay.
September 10th.
Don't show
you have
up.
to come to Cabo because Willie talked about he's celebrating his birthday too. Y'all are on both September birthdays.
Okay.
Yep.
Him and he gonna be there with his $40.
Lord have mercy.
But you gotta call him Poppy.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, Lorinda. You waiting on that? You waiting on it?
Not happening.
We're gonna call next week. I'm gonna call him and say, Lorinda said that she will call you Poppy on this call. So you have to be. If he shows up, Lorinda, you got to do it.
Why you be lying?
I'm not lying. You gonna do it, right? You gonna do it?
Look, Is this being recorded? Shoot, I stopped the recording. I was gonna say I
Yep.
have it
Yes, it
on
is.
record, but it is on YouTube. So YouTube, he said that, not me. So it's on the record. Nope.
I don't know why you don't just say Poppy and be done with it. I mean, that's, you know,
Not gonna do it.
your last name is Martinez.
Martinez, it is Martinez.
So it shouldn't be hard for you to formulate that word.
I'm not
Say
going
it,
to
say
say.
it, let it say Poppy.
I'm not going to say
Say
Poppy.
You just said it. Thank you. You got it recorded. I'll send it to him.
Not happening. So anyway,
Lord.
thank you,
All right.
ladies, for joining us in this
Yeah.
discussion. And let's just spread the word, get the word
Thank you.
out, and be an encouragement and help one another as we go through this process of our coping with our aging parents and us ourselves aging. So
Oh, don't say that too loud.
why? What's wrong? Why we can't say it too
Oh.
loud?
Aging.
Because you aging
Oh,
When you made 50, dude, you're a half a century.
half a century.
you know what? And I'm grateful because somebody didn't make
Somebody did not make it. Somebody
Huh?
said 49.
it. I don't think y'all heard me.
Oh no.
Okay,
you
on
can't
that
start
note,
preaching. No,
Oh goodness.
we can't do that.
Anybody? Hey, we getting some t-shirts made. Anybody interested in a Peer Talk t-shirt?
Sure.
I'm asking because we gotta order them. So I don't want to order them if nobody
Okay,
wants.
can I have a fitted V-neck?
What's she say?
I want a woman's t-shirt, a fitted V-neck.
You want a fitted V-neck?
Yep.
All right. What size you need?
Yeah.
What size you need?
I need.
You need what?
Depends on what. At least a 1X.
At least a 1X.
A 1X. That's what
Okay,
I
you said at least a 1X. So I'm like, okay, you need a 1X. Or you...
That's yeah. It depends on what the quality of the t-shirt.
It's the quality
Is
of
it
it.
is it a blend? Is it
Stretch.
cotton?
Right. It matters. It matters.
Canvas has some really good t-shirts.
Okay, well, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Especially,
I don't
when
really-
you have these things in front of you.
Right.
Things. Okay, I tell y'all what. Lorinda, I'm gonna leave that up to Lorinda to do. She's a woman. She can best, do it. I'll handle the fellas. I'll let Lorinda handle what we get for the ladies. How's that? And that way, if it ain't the right thing, then it's on her and not me. There we go.
It'll be the right thing because she's doing it.
All right. Well, there you go. Look at that vote of confidence they just gave you, Lorenzo. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The sisterhood sticks together.
All right. So when she gets
host here,
I want to see try to maintain that sisterhood.
Hush up.
Whatever.
He's always trying to start some trouble.
Always.
All the time.
I never do anything like that. I don't know why you would say something like that.
So before we go, I would like to ask the ladies.
Yep.
Anybody that was listening to this on YouTube and that may be going through what we were talking about, what advice would you give them to help on this journey? Shelley?
Get help. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
What happened?
Take moments for yourself.
Ask for help and take moments for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. That's helped me. I'm out of town in a minute. And really that's the only time I get a chance to just get a break because people call me and they're pulling at me at all times. So I have to get away. Otherwise I'll go crazy.
Correct. Great advice. Lisa, what about you? What advice would you give to someone?
The first thing I would say is no is a complete sentence. Because, you're going to be stretched and you're going to have to pick and choose what you respond to and what you react to and what you're gonna kind of let slide down the river, whatever you want to call it, be a duck, roll off your back, because you get a lot of very, very good guidance from some folks. And then, you know, every now and then you're going to get someone who's going to say something that's going to trigger you. And you're going to have to be able to manage yourself. So you must take care of yourself. You can't be everything to everybody, no matter how hard you want to. And you've got to pick and choose. So take care of while you're taking care of your children and your parents, if that is your situation, because there are quite a lot of people that are sandwiched in. Don't forget to take care of yourself. You must find out what it is that, one, might trigger you so you can avoid it if at all possible, and two, to understand that you don't have to necessarily leave your house or leave your home or leave your state or whatever to get away. You gotta find out what works for you and work that, you know, even if it's locking yourself in the bathroom for an hour saying, I don't care if the house ain't burning down, leave me alone.
Right. That's good. That's good. That's
you
good.
know, you really
I
do.
agree.
Self-care is a must. That's what I would say.
That's really good. I would say to that too. Both of you were saying take care of yourself, and what popped into my mind is don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty that you're taking that time to take care of yourself, because there are people out there who will beat themselves up because they took some time out just to exhale. So don't feel guilty for taking the time to take care of you, period. Dewan, what advice would you give someone who's dealing with or coping with an aging parent, or themselves, they're aging? What advice would you give to someone?
Yeah, because you
If
aging.
you need therapy, get therapy.
Oh, good.
Sometimes self-care isn't just getting away, but actually doing the work to make sure that you're healed and whole. And a lot of times, even as adults as old as we are, we have our parents on pedestals, and the aging process, I'll speak for myself because my dad has Alzheimer's, returns them to the infant stage. And so someone that you have looked at as your hero is now, one, they don't know who you are. Two, they need you for everything. Something as small as brushing their teeth, or understanding when they're in the shower that they need to bathe. Alzheimer's robs them of all of that, and you can't take it personally. And if you get in that space where you've got children that you still have to raise, I'm blessed that my children are adults. So, I now need to navigate being a parent to adult children while my father is returning to an infant stage. But therapy is key, because if I didn't have anybody to talk to, I mean, you're my girl, I can call you and we can talk. But if I didn't have a professional that I could reach out to for the tools to process both of those, I would be bald or running out in the street naked somewhere, or smoking some crack just to escape the reality of everything that is going on. It is not a weakness to seek therapy. It is not a weakness to binge and watch some stupid show just for a break. And I agree with Lisa. If the house is not burning down, don't bother me. Don't call my name.
That's right.
I'm good. If you are fed and your Pampers dry,
we're good.
We're good. Keep it moving. This is my time. We have to teach our children that we were people before we became parents.
Correct.
So we still have people needs. Mommy might need to go and get her Okay, I'm not gonna say that. But mommy might need her mommy time.
I'm not quite sure what you were going to say. Can you please say
And
it?
that's okay. And that's okay. Oh, and that's
You
okay.
know exactly what I was going to say, Mr. Lemon.
I'm sorry. You got a lot of people listening to the show that might not quite understand what you were about to say.
Oh,
It's okay.
I would appreciate it if you would say it so that everyone can understand, the inside, whatever it was you guys clearly understand that we don't. So yeah, please.
Sometimes mommies just need to let their freak flag fly.
Freak flag fly.
Yep. Sometimes
Triple F.
Sometimes the triple F, right?
That's right.
Sometimes you just need to
Hello.
take care of your needs. And if your children are, if your adult children live at home with you, they can take care of themselves. And if they're not living at home with you, they don't need to know where you are every hour of the day. And if you're taking care of aging parents, if they're safe, make sure you're taking care of you, as long as you're not doing harm to yourself, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying go out here and shoot up a needle or do something harmful. What I'm saying is, in a safe way, in a let your hair down way, in the best healed way possible. Take care of you, because the stewardess tells you all the time, don't put that oxygen mask on the baby first. You need to be able to breathe, or you can't help anybody next to you. Pastors tell you all the time, you can't keep pouring out of an empty cup. Fill yourself up, and then you can go back and pour into somebody else.
And pour into someone else. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
You went from letting a freak flag fly and pouring out into what the pastor said. You know what? I don't want to be a part of this conversation no more. I think we should end this
because
call.
We're complex like that.
Yeah, I know.
Correct. Thank you, Lisa. But this was great. This is great advice to give from women who have dealt with this. People, if you're listening on YouTube, this is real, raw, and uncut. These are individuals, all of us, who have gone through this, going through this, or preparing to go through this. This is great information. It's okay to take care of yourself, and understand, this is a part of life's journey. It really is. This is just another pathway or another stop on this journey we call life. So take care of yourself, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I love that. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because I know just my temperament alone, I want to do it all. I don't want to ask anybody for help. I'm like, no, I don't want to bother anybody. Look, bother some folks. Ask for help. It's critical. Ask for help. And as Lisa said, no is a complete sentence. No, I can't be there for you right now. No, I can't do that for you. No, I need to take this time. No is a complete sentence. Please, 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 please. I hope something that was said here tonight is beneficial to you and it was a blessing to you. And there it is. Onyx, back to you.
Yeah, so Willie's not on the call now because he's too busy clowning the Cowboys fans. Yeah. This is him. I just got an alert that said he had tagged me in something. Anyway.
I just want everybody to pay attention to the screen here. What is that, a helmet? San Francisco.
Because of your stupid team, my team's not in the playoffs, so I'm blowing up that helmet.
West Side.
That's all right.
Always come to the game.
They're not going no further. They not going no further than to the stadium to play the next game. That's as far as they're gonna go. 49ers will not see the Super Bowl.
I rebuke that.
You can rebuke it. I tell you, Jesus don't watch football. No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
That's what you say. That's what you say.
He got more things to do with time.
Anyway, y'all, this has been
a
great combo. Great combo.
Yes. So everybody, thank you all so much for joining us again this week. We really appreciate it. Our numbers are like through the roof right now on YouTube. I think we're up to like 400,000 or something now on YouTube. Are you all subscribers on YouTube? Have you gone to the YouTube page and subscribed to Peer Talk yet? If you haven't, please do so. I just click the little subscribe button. That'll certainly help our numbers and make put a few coins in Lorinda's pocket so she can get a real team helmet behind her. Be encouraged, stay safe, stay warm and dry. So I don't know where y'all at, but it's snowing here, or it was earlier. Probably a sheet of ice out there right now. Other than that, I hope to see y'all.
It's turning to ice now.
Yeah.
It's ice?
Yeah, the temperature's actually the temperature's 45 here right now, so that the street should be okay for now. But
it must only be 45 down there because mine is saying 34.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Alexa right. Alexa,
30.
what's the temperature outside?
What in the world?
47 degrees Fahrenheit.
47 degrees.
Expect a low of 36 degrees.
Yeah, so a low of 30.
Am I supposed to subscribe to the weekly show or just Peer Talk 2.0?
Peer Talk 2.0.
All righty.
It's 54 here. It's cold.
Anyway, I got some spaghetti waiting for me. Y'all, thank y'all again so much.
Is it in a plastic bowl?
Look, y'all had a problem with that post.
Plastic ice cream container.
Look,
oh my God.
Look, y'all know as well as I do, the best food come from the hole in the walls. Y'all don't know what they got y'all food in the back before they serve it to you. And it's the best food ever. I would look, if a woman invite me over to her house and the house is decent and she happens to put the food in a container like that on the table, guess what? The biscuits are on a plate. I'm eating them biscuits. All right.
Eating the chicken that was on the light bill?
Watch this. I'm gonna take my chicken from the top. I'm taking my chicken from the top. I ain't gotta eat a piece from the bottom. I'm taking the chicken from the top. And the spaghetti, heck, it was in a plastic container. It's all good. I'm gonna scoop it out and I'm gonna eat it. Look, she ain't have to cook it all. You don't want to do a show on that. Because watch this. Sisters these days, and if this shoe don't fit you, don't get offended. But if I'm talking about you, you gonna bark. Women these days don't cook. So if that chick invite me over and she's prepared this, I'm gonna eat it. Because I'm impressed.
How come you don't want to? But here's my thing. How come you wouldn't take the wing at the bottom? Why? Because I
don't need to take the wing at the bottom, touching the paper. I don't need. It was plenty of wings on that plate. It was plenty of wings on that paper. All right. So I can grab one from the top and I'm good.
For all of those who are watching and saying, what the heck are they talking about? You must join the Peer Talk 2.0 Facebook group and see the different memes that folks post in there. And then you will get an understanding about the ice cream Tupperware container and the biscuits and the fried chicken wings on the light bill.
Straight up bucket.
What you say?
It said bucket.
I had nothing against the food. It was all in the presentation.
It's just presentation.
Right.
Presentation is
because it's not presented a certain way. Is that what you're telling me?
Let me tell you how I would have done this. So
would you have eaten it? That's the question on the table.
Listen. The top that came on the plastic bucket. Look, put the rolls on top of that. Put the chicken on the actual plate. There you go.
Okay, Lorinda, would you have eaten?
I'm pretty sure what threw everybody off was that $10.99 light bill. I think that's what threw it off. I really think that's what threw it off.
Would you have eaten it? If it were delivered to you just like that, would you have partook? If you got to question it, then there's a good possibility you would have. So I don't even know why we're having this conversation.
Look. The whole basis of that was this was a first date. Wasn't that what it was, ladies?
No matter. You don't know how long that person was talking. You don't know how long they've been talking? Because most of y'all say y'all wouldn't be going over at guy's house on the first date anyway. So apparently they've been talking long enough for her to feel comfortable enough to go to his house.
I'm going by what the meme said. That's all I'm saying. I'm going by what the meme said. It said this was a first date.
Look, Evelyn, you got to look a little
Right.
bit deeper. You got to look a little bit deeper.
Did you call her Evelyn?
Y'all, I'm gonna say
Lisa,
goodnight on
Lisa,
that
don't
one.
even,
Right.
you know what? Some
Because
days
he